you very much. Yes, the people. Yeah, good morning. So that's first of all, welcome to the second session of this fantastic workshop that is generating new ideas and decision-making techniques. Is you see, I have my full screen, so I can see your faces. If you have to ask any question, please, you can use your microphone on, and ask me the question. Today we will start at 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock. We will start until 10:30, more or less, perhaps 10:30 or 20:25, and then we have a break approximately of 30 minutes to have a break, to have a coffee or whatever you wanted to do to relax, and then we restart our classes at 11 o'clock, to perhaps 10 minutes before 30, or approximately you have any questions you want to do, but more or less 10 minutes before 12 o'clock, we finish the second session of today. So if you don't come yesterday, please let me know myself. Let me introduce myself. My name is Antonio Anton. I belong to the University of professor, associated professor of the University of Alicante in the Faculty of Economics, in the business, the management and business department. The idea of creating this workshop, as I told you yesterday, is to make a link for people that wanted to generate new ideas in any area. So don't think that is only for creating something, because people say, well, Antonio, because I'm not creating, I'm not enrolling in some business workshops or business creation subjects. So it's not about it. It's more than that. The idea is to open your minds in different ideas, and you have the options to use these techniques in every area. Perhaps you are an entrepreneur and you wanted to use this area, or you are working, for instance, in the department or something like that, or when you are group with you have been grouped in with different mates joined in a group to work together. So it's time to collaborate with your mates by using these things. Making very summarizing what we saw yesterday. Well, yesterday we start to show the model 1. We show about the creativity tools. We focus on this first technique that is called start vesting. Before and then I will a little I'll explain it a little bit for the people that didn't attend today. They can start by submitting the proper exercises of the module 1. Okay. So at the afternoon, the professor Tamer, coordinator of this subject, of this project, they uploaded the material of the start vesting practical assignments, and you can do the proper exercises. Before starting the classes for today, I make a short review about I summarize it in the very very crucial questions in those techniques. Well, you will start by showing the start vesting. The start vesting technique is talking about, every time we talk about start vestings, we talk about a circular economy or sustainable, and involves very shortly. I'm showing a very summarize about what we showed yesterday. So about circular economy. So this is the crucial technique, the crucial characteristics of these techniques that you need to put in a start. So it's good when you are in groups and you need to work together. You say, well, you need to do brainstorming, but brainstorming a little bit more sophisticated. And I propose the idea of this start with showing the questions, the letters, the relatives, They are relative about why, who, what, how, where, when. Then start to show you, as we explained yesterday, we start to repeat, to create the different questions, to relate from the skate to the star, the different questions, right? So this is here, who is the product, who will the product, who will the market, who will help, what is the product, what is the when, where, how will we. So that's the way to brainstorming. Every time you have an idea, start by using this technique, the technique in terms of the five relatives. Very, very important to show, for instance, the term why. Because why is this product needed? Why would someone want to buy? Everything has connected with, for instance, with the value propositions. It's not necessary to repeat the same questions. Perhaps you have other whys that they are more related to the questions rather than this. So it's not necessary to use this prototype, questions prototype, and use it. You need to use whose or whys that they are very related to the product or the perfect, or where you can take information about it. What type of material, what are the emissions? Perhaps it's more related to the products. How will you get feedback? How will the market? It's about the department, the area where you need to buy it. Where we'll have it produced, when will the backup, when will we start productions, when we'll start marketing the product. So it's related to marketing as well, or who will is the product, who will produce, who will market, who will help. So it has to do with the target or the people. Okay, so for me, it's fantastic to get information. Sometimes people say, well, we start making brainstorming, but brainstorming is for infants, is more not as sophisticated as this start testing. Then, apart from that, we'll start to show you what is lateral thinking. Okay, this is the second part that I showed today to understand you are more lateral or you are more linear person. No? Finally, at the end, I show you a test, but it's showing that if you are linear or lateral thinkers. Then I put some examples how to improve lateral thinkers in order to know it. If, well, in order to know, you need to handle, you are getting used to this, to lateral thinking, very funny ideas in terms of it, because I think so it's good. It's a good ideas for working in teams to know about the lateral thinking and to know more about it. And finally, we saw here are examples of different lateral thinkers, and then we start by using this hat. This is what we saw yesterday, the last thing that we saw, that is called six thinking hats. For me, it's amazing. For me, this way to think into creative ideas, for me, is more than that. It's fantastic. Because sometimes when you are working in groups and you face for different mates or in a project, or perhaps when you are creating ideas. So I realize in my students, for instance, that I start to think about, and there are people that are very negative, others that are very, perhaps people that are very negative, they see negative ideas, or they don't see anything, or they don't comment something, or perhaps there are people that are emotional. I realize it is in meeting groups as well. When I'm meeting, I realize by discussing something, I realize that my colleagues, for instance, sometimes are very negative, and they insist on being negative and negative. And every time that they are negative, say the same. Why do you decided today to put the black hat instead of the yellow hat? No, they can understand very well what I'm saying. Perhaps, yes, you are crazy, Antonio, today. What do you eat? What you drink, or something like that. Well, the idea is to understand that his thinking has to do with. And the example, every time that I explain here in this workshop, an example is related to circular economy. So when Tamer started to generate, to work in this idea, to generate this idea, we need to start by putting examples to students in terms of circular economy. So the idea for me is fantastic, because you will generate ideas in terms of being more sustainable or understanding the circular economy. Well, this is the final example that I explained yesterday. This is a very, very important example. The people use office spaces, and we decided to not to use these office spaces, and decided to telecommuting. Or telecommuting, perhaps we can diminish some costs or damaging the environment in order to use less space. And the space in the office, something if involves more waste, and where we decided to improve it in terms of circular economy. Why not to recycle our space in terms of circles? Sometimes you recycle, but when it comes to recycle the space, so you might do it as well. So that's the idea. And then we start by explaining the different rules of the hearts. And the first time, the white heart is thinking about just the facts. The second, this is questions about the problem we show. Then we start by looking the green heart. Green heart is terms of being more creative. When you put this heart, you need to be more creative. And then we show the last one, the red one, that is called to be the gut feelings, to be the emotions, and base emotion in this word. So here, for instance, in terms of the problem that we saw, you can state these questions as well, or you can't put in practice. This is my perspective, my opinions. We have personal opinions. What do we know? Well, this is an example statements that perhaps you have others that you can substitute for it. I don't know, but in terms of finding information, we might show that the 76% prefer working from home every day. This is about the state, so this is a fact. In the past 20 years of employees, people prefer to going back. Employees come one day per week, no? So they are showing that the different informations about a wide thinking hat. Other questions in terms of it. Other questions has to do with I believe I read about study that shows teens feel more connected, or in the past year, 25, I said before, 25 of our employees can once a week. So different questions, different ideas in terms of different hats. In the green hat, for instance, is the green hat is related to the idea of creating ideas, of being very creative. You are creative when you have opportunities to create something. No? You are very creative. So something that have green hats is that you are creative. No? Here, for instance, we show the exercise of note new ideas. No, for instance, the co-working. We cut the co-working. Co-working will be more idea than a hybrid model. Hybrid model to go. We are thinking that hybrid model is good, or perhaps we need to go to fully attendance, or perhaps telecommute ourselves. So you have three options. But what is better? No, because independently of these options, perhaps another extra options outside option will be good. So create another idea. The idea is co-working. Co-working involves to be together in the same space, in different space, not by renting. Perhaps I can rent another very cheap space because there are not enough people to be here. So maybe it's suitable. And then the emotions, the red heart in terms of emotions, red heart questions. So emotional people, they are very emotional. I'll say the Spaniards are very emotional as well, or they are as well. Well, to some extent, I think so. You can control, no? England, perhaps on the North Europe, they can control more emotional or not than that. Well, I don't think so. You are more emotional. You can express your emotions. The way is to can handle emotions. For me, what is important is not the bad point to state emotions. The way is you can rule your emotions better. You can digest your emotions. You can control it to some extent. Control what you are feeling. So emotions, well, when you feel it, that some people have gut reaction. No? Gut reactions in terms of everything. When you have a gut reaction, it's like you feel in your stomach or your heart. And people say, well, I feel it in my heart. I'm loving with this girl. This girl is mine. This boy is, I think is mine, would be good. Or in terms of wherever you feel the gut, that my ticket will be rewarded because it's my ticket in terms of lottery. So gut reactions are how the people, but it's not like it. So at the end of the day, what is worth it to this is sometimes emotions show experience in the past. There are people because they experience these situations and they can solve it well. So you have a solution. Sometimes it's not necessary to use something for those people. Those people, they don't think necessary to use these techniques because they have gut feels, no, gut reactions, gut feelings, and hunches. And what do you know? Well, for me, hunches is nothing. And hunches are emotions that like it. But there are people that, because of the experience that have life, they realize when someone have hunches, have a gut reaction, they can't trust with your gut reaction. No? Well, for me, it's a wishy-washy idea. You know, in terms, you ask me as a consultant, a person, you say what you need to contrast it. When you know something, you have an idea, well, you need to express it, your gut. But something is very important. Not only is important to generate a red heart, it's important as well to have a white heart that show facts. No? So the red heart and the white heart, red heart are emotions. No? My gut tells me that hybrid model is a bad idea. No? The point is the white heart said, why are you saying that? And why are you saying that? You see your point when you say that this hybrid model is a bad idea. Have facts that showing that obviously perhaps the hybrid model is bad idea, but with facts. No? So finally, we show the cautions, the black, and finally this is cautions, this is yellow optimisms, to see the optimism approach. People that are very optimisms is different, negative cautions as well, and it is positive. And finally, we show the role of moderator, no, the person that supervise the whole sessions with and have started problem. No? Examples of what problems, what are the science. So first, the blue hat is good at the first and at the end of the project. It's good to show it. Huh? So it's fantastic to see it. If we go to this example, I wanted to share it with my screen with other exercises. As you can see, in terms of here. Well, I wanted to show the exercises for the 27th. This is the exercises that you need to carry out this afternoon when it's uploaded. The first exercises is a start vesting method. It's very simple. It's not really complicated to do this sort of exercises. And as you can see, is a problem. This is start vesting. It's a form, what, generating ideas. So this is my first exercise. The exercise is to use the star-busting method with regard to sustainable or circular economy, which affects sustainable plan in your university. I show you the example water fountain. In order to do that, it's not necessary to use a water fountain to eat it. But for instance, sometimes we are aware that water fountain are in the university, and how do you make it better? And is there any way to, for instance, water fountain make it better in terms of, for instance, circular economy, or something that could be for the students, the target of the university in terms of it? Or how do you get can handle it? But my idea is use the star-busting method forever in every something that you can't get it better at your university, your local university. So thinking about a new idea that can it better, or do you think that could be useful, but with the aim of being sustainable, with the aim of being sustainable, with the aim of create a circular economy, to take in account the two methods, well, sustainable or circular. So there are a lot of ideas, perhaps, I don't know, perhaps has to do with two vehicles, or perhaps cycling, or perhaps something plants, or food, or water, the meanings of plastic waste in terms of bottles, something new that you generate to improve the sustainable plan in university. And then after it, this is the first example. So we need to start with the star within, and showing the different questions. Okay, so this is about the first exercises for the class for yesterday. And the second exercise is has to do with the exercise 1, the 6 hat, the example of the exercise 2 is how to improve your lateral thinking. So improving your lateral thinking, I show you some examples here. There are 6 examples, and you need to find a solution. It's not it's not just one solution. So you need to find different solutions for it. So it's a way to improve your lateral thinking. How you say, instead of being linear, to try to find other solutions. Some of this example has been corrected yesterday. It says the first one was corrected. So the idea is cut to heart of 10 fat men rather than a single skinny one. I'm going to show you a solution. If you wanted to show solutions, well, have a look to the module 1. But it was very, so I don't want you to show the solution, because I think so it will be better to think a little bit. No? So forever I have a solution, but perhaps that you find others. John Mann runs out of the house to see his girlfriends, and he will forget his driver license on the nightstand. He doesn't look for it again, cross the red traffic, go the other way. He's not stopped by police, but nor does he have an accident. How is that possible? Huh? How is that possible to red traffic light on one of the busiest avenues, and the police is there, and perhaps he's not stopped by the police? So try to find the solution of this statement, these situations, and try to find the solution to explain how is that possible. The elevator man is tricky, not tricky, but improve your lateral thinking as well. Man lives on the 10th floor of a building. Every day, take the elevator and go down to the ground floor to go to lunch. So it's very normal. You are in the, I think the second exercise is well explained. It's in, I think, no, but the third elevator I need to explain. Take the elevator, go down to the ground floor, go to lunch in the restaurant. And when returning, he always takes the same elevator. Okay, so it's normal. And if there is no one with him, he goes down to the 7th floor and goes up the remaining floor by stairs. So as you said, well, is this in the third, 10th floor? They go down, they go to take breakfast, to have a breakfast or to have a meal, then come back, and then instead of the click on the 10th floor, they click on the 7th, and then the third rest of the steps they do by walking. No? Goes up the remaining floors. What is possible? Is this strange, or is this there in a solution? Therefore, the same family arrived from a weekend, and the mom found that the broken is on the dining room, it's on the table. The family show the cat's paw prints are clearly visible on the tabletop. Uh, is it true? So, do you think that is what happened? Well, maybe perhaps you say a family cat's paw prints are clearly visible on the table too, but is there another solution? The ring and the coffee, a woman drops her engagement ring in coffee. She realized that not only has no bit stained, but is not even wet. How is that possible? You put drops her in a coffee. Well, so how is possible that it's not wet? You drink, for instance, you drink a coffee. I don't know. Good question. And the hole, finally, how much dirt is in a hole? 1 meter by 1 meter wide and 1 meter depth. So solutions, there are a lot. So I need you to respond it very shortly to respond it to find a solution and to what you think. Very short, your explanation. It's not necessarily required to extend too much, explain too much. So being trying to find a solution, explain by writing down your words and well and explain it very short. Okay, so I think the exercises are very clear for uploaded it on the virtual campus. Um, it doesn't matter you send to me or you send the exercises for me, or you decide that I prefer to upload it on the you download the exercises and you can send the exercises to my email, and I will respond or show the question. Well, finally for today, well, in the second today, according to the today, well, here we have an exercise one, that is about what you explained yesterday. So today we are on the first sessions. You need to do two exercises. One to burn to what is called star bestings is the idea. The second idea is to talk about the exercise of to improve your lateral thinking. You know, how do you improve your lateral thinking? The second exercise for today is the first exercise for the today's session is to do something that we did it yesterday. We explained yesterday. It's about the cis heart model. You see the first example, perhaps it sounds familiar to you, no? When you say hybrid model. Oh, okay, for hybrid model is what I explained yesterday by explaining the hybrid model in terms of circular economy, or explaining it. Well, and we have to, where you have options of being telecommute or fully remote, of is another option. So there are different sides. The moment is being fully remote. It's a hybrid model, and there are options to be fully remote, what is telecommute, or perhaps to come back to the normal option. So here we state questions about you agree with the idea of hybrid work instead of face-to-face work when it comes to circular economy. Do you agree with the idea of hybrid work instead of face-to-face work when it comes to circular economy? So here, very short to state the idea, if you agree or not, the idea of hybrid model. Hybrid model instead of face-to-face work when it comes to explaining why you say it is better or not. And the second problem for today is state a problem concerns circular economy and use 6 has technique to enhance its sustainability. So the idea of it is to use circular economy, to use a stated problem in forever, wherever, perhaps is focused on university or something that has to do in terms of sustainability or circular. And what I want you is a problem with that is very common in terms of sustainability, that you can improve sustainability, but using the 6 has technique. So first of all, you need to show different has and show what first state the problem as the example in terms of what have to do. Perhaps it's whatever it is, we are talking different issues. Maybe it's food vegan, food normal food, or improving plastic from the university or not, allowing, for instance, using plastic water or not. There, I don't want you to force you to put my ideas in you. I want you to be creative, but not using, for example, what I think so. Let's take advantage to as well. This is a problem in my university in terms of sustainability. Well, I'm going to state the problem by using this technique. And well, finally, after it, I think that my opinion, my problem will be solved by this idea. Okay, so that's the state problem. So very shortly, put the problem, try to express yourself in terms of different hubs. So it's not necessary to be so extensive. Explain it very concise, and then when you finish, try to get a conclusion. So this is, as you see, the example for today's session is not really complicated. For today, there are another problem that this is the exercise 2. The exercise 2 said identify a problem which involves sustainability problem of circular economy and try to find the proper cause by implementing the 5 why technique. So this is what I'm going to explain today. Today we will focus on this 5 whys technique. So first of all, problem and try to find the proper cause. Look at the difference between the first one and the second one. Even though it's true, but perhaps in the first technique, it's not about to find the proper cause, it's about to find perhaps a solution. It's true that the 6 has example is at the bottom of the program, okay, because are related to, but in terms of creativity tools, I think mandatory to show, to start to note the characteristics of these techniques. So let's start by explaining the 5 why techniques. This is the problem solving techniques. So we will start to show you some problems solving. I'm going to charge the battery of my laptop, but it's run out of battery, and I need, okay, now it's working. So let's start problem solving techniques, the module 2 for this session. Well, first of all, the first approach for today is to take into account that the development organization said that the circular economy works with the aim to extend the lifespan. in terms of whatever products, service, or relocate waste or supply chain to the beginning. So this is very mandatory norm that you need to account in this workshop according to this way to create value for prosperity for your security. For me, I'm not, well, we might say that this is very short, but perhaps you agree with me or not. You not, but we have not plan B, planet B, and you need to stay to create ideas in terms of it. For me, it's fantastic when you see, for instance, that there are researchers that they see that by seaweed, the seaweed, the algae or the seaweed, they can make some packets. For me, it's splendid to see, fantastic, awesome to see some research find that by using the seaweed may create a packet to packet wherever, using supermarkets or big corporations, and packet everything, tomatoes or strawberry or wherever, orange or wherever packet to use is to reuse to rechain it for the normal plastic. I think it's very understandable that the using have this view is perfect. Or, for instance, extending the product of lifespan. Well, this is an example. You didn't study the circular economy. Well, there are 4 parts that you need to take into account. Reduce environment footprint. We start on the top on the left. The second is generate increased income and reduce resource dependence and minimize the waste. So we have 4 parts in terms of reduce environmental footprints, generate increased incomes, or reduce dependencies, or minimize the waste. So we can start with recycle, the reuse of resources, use the green products, and the cleaner and the better service, and finally to collect all end of life to remanufacture it. So this is how the way the circular start, and you need to use and to need to take account where you are, for instance, and what you do. It's in terms of recycles, it's in terms of using fewer resources, or it's in terms to long life. The life is the long life, using green products, or it's about to extend a lifespan. At the end, it depends on what you have. You are in this minimize waste or reduce environmental footprints, generate increased income, or resource dependence. Well, here, this is an explanation, the waste about, this is a very graphic that I get. So how the waste of the create, how the waste comes. And here, for instance, we realize that the constructions of the mud is very massive. However, mining and quarrying as well. However, there are others that they are increasing a lot, and the manufacturing or the water is very increased, or the households are increasing in a massive way. The wholesale for waste and scraps 1%, agriculture perhaps 0.8. Well, getting the root of the problem technique is to show, in terms of generating ideas, is to solve, to try to look for the principal root of the problem. So I like to explain this technique. I explain this technique also in the Castellano workshop, that in terms of the final work of students that they have to do here in Alicante, Spain, University of Alicante. At the end of the final grade work, final project. So we talk about TFG, but in terms of English, I think so it could be a final project that every student need to show in one area that is they think that has qualified, or an area that they feel that they are more related to, or an area that feel more that is appeals to him or to her. So you decided at the end of your final your grades, well, I like more accountancy, or I would like more creating business, or I like more, I like a lot the marketing, or I like a lot fundamentals, for instance. Okay. At the end of the day, you need to create it. So this is good idea to start by creating your idea and say, well, I want you to do something. No? The one example of 5 whys in trying to find the solution is to repeat 5 whys. So every time you have a problem, though sometimes in terms of linear, you have a problem, you can find very well a root. But the principal problem. However, this technique is to know if there are other problems, other root causes that instead of the first one. So perhaps I wanted to own my own business. What I want to do this. I will allow me to have a greater control over how I spend my time. So in terms of the root cause that it would be to have more, to have spend my time, how to me to greater control over my time. But you repeat it, you say, why do I want you to do this? Why do I want you to have more control of my time? Because I can have more flexibility in my life. Why do I want you to do this? I will be able to work from home, for instance, telecommute myself. What do I want to do this? Because if I work for homes, I spend more time with my son or my daughter. And why do I want? Because supporting my family is the most important thing to me. So what we're saying with this exercise is that the exercise of 5 whys, the root cause, perhaps you thought that is the first one. However, it's not 100%. Supporting my family is the principal, is the major cause in terms of, for instance, the first problem. I want to own my own business, my own idea. So let's start by showing all the exercises. Another problem that in terms of the clients is our client is refusing to pay for leaflets we printed for him, okay? Well, as a client refuse it, so problem is right. So there are a lot of problems. You can say, well, perhaps it's they have not money. Perhaps it's they go to the competence, they go to another competitors. Perhaps there are other problems. But let's start by showing why our client is refusing to pay. We printed for him. Yeah? The delivery was late, so the leaflets couldn't be used. So this is the first complaint of the client. The client said the delivery was late. Because the delivery was late, I can't use the leaflets because they are out of time. They are out of time. Perhaps they can announce a product, a service, or something like that, and then when it receives it, they are over the time. They are out of the deadline, and you can't use it. Perhaps this is my sneaky suspicion. I have the sneaky suspicions that there could be the first root cause that we might see. So here, as I said, the root cause of motivation is the last one, and then we will continue to why the job took longer than we expected. Why we were late? Because the job took longer time. And why? Because our department, we ran out of printer ink. Why? The ink was all used on a large dash minute order. So why? Why? Because we didn't have enough ink in stock and couldn't order new supplies in time. So we need to focus on the idea of delivery was late, so all the job took longer than we expected. Perhaps we might wrongly assume that we need to hire more people, but we fail. This strategy we fail because it's not the major problem. The major root is that we didn't have enough ink in stock. So what is the solution? Find an ink suppliers who can deliver at short notice. We can continue to minimize inventory, reduce waste, and respond to customer demands. So we didn't have enough ink in stock. It involves that we need to find an ink supplier that can deliver us at short time, so we can continue to minimize inventory. So by doing so, we can reduce waste and respond to customer demand. So there are two parts: the circular economy issues, and also trying to solve this solution. Well, they show you that, well, even though the first problem is delivery was late, but at the end of the day, the major cause, root cause, is to find we didn't have enough ink in stock. So our measure is to find a supplier who can supply us in a very short time the proper ink. So it's fantastic to know sometimes to know the root cause. The root cause of the problem when you start to think about an idea, a problem, and then by doing these 5 questions, perhaps you find other issues. Here, another problem statement. It's in terms of bakery. I don't know if you like the muffins, perhaps. Chocolate muffins, and well, there were many unhappy customers on yesterday who requested their money back. So people, you start to make these muffins, fantastic, delicious muffin, and they are burnt. They are burnt, as you can see in the photo. And you say, well, if they are burned, well, I put on your display, your own display, and well, the people complained it when you put this product, complain it because well, they are burned. So the problem statement, there were many unhappy customers who requested their money back. So first question, why? The cupcakes customers bought are dry and slightly burnt. Well, they bought something. The cake, this is the first cause why the people complain. Are happy. The people, well, it's very the first question for someone that has linear view. They say, well, for me it's very clear. Perhaps they are burned. So, but why? Is this true? Because it's a point of that. It's about for what the case is spent too long in the oven. Perhaps it's more in terms of linear. You say, well, the case spent too long in the oven. You need to take caution on it. Bakers, why? Bakers did not take them out when the alarm went off. Something about, well, about perhaps about caution, about their stress, or they didn't realize they are bored, or they are not proper qualifications, because when they ring, you need to take an account something about alarm. No? In these cases, sometimes you complain to the people. No, you say the boss, the middle line say, well, there's a problem that you need to take cautions about your duties. You need to do your duties. Supposed to be you need to take care of your duties. But why? we continue too. Bakers were short-staffed and overworked as a result. People um, don't have free hands. Free hands in terms you are overworked, you are overwhelmed. Sometimes you are overwhelming the work. It's very common nowadays. Technology comes, but technology comes to increase our stress because we need multi-choice. We need to multitask. Indeed, I think so. It's a problem for being multitask. You need to are very aware to planning our tasks. This is, I will tell you that I expect to next short period of time we will start, but very important time management workshops in terms of handle your time. How you handle your time is very important, no? To understand it. So they did not have a plan in place for this when there are fewer bakers in the battery. So perhaps there are no a plan. There are fewer bakers in batteries. So back the idea, the root cause, the first root cause, perhaps we thought that is a problem about the people didn't carry out their duties, their tasks. They didn't carry out the tasks. It's a problem of the people didn't attend proper, didn't realize how the tasks were. So the problem, but we realized at the end of this last word that we have not a plan for fewer, perhaps a problem with human resources. There is no plan in place for managing work loss when bakeries are out sick. So perhaps the problem is not about the people. Perhaps the problem is about by human resource department or the middle line, that they need to create some different curriculum vitae, they need to have different candidates just in case. When if this comes frequently, that you need to have candidates in stock to use it just in case some problems happens. In terms of the people have out of six or so sick, you need to have other people that substitute those people, and it's a problem that is related to perhaps human resources or perhaps the middle line. Or the middle line, we talk the middle line, a term that used in economics, that is could be the manager or the CEO of the company that need to carry out those issues. So this is fantastic to show that in these exercises first. So we thought that the cape is a problem with the rules, and then realize that it's not a problem. They are the root cause. There is still no plan for managing workloads when bakers are out of sick. No plan, and the problem is there are not enough curriculum vitae. There are not enough candidates in stock to use it. There's no plan in place when it happens. So perhaps the root cause could be, well, if something is the people are overworked, you need to have an extra people to support the other people in extra situations, perhaps weekends or different, depends on the days. Perhaps one day is very overload of work, others the less diminish it, and depends on the bid. You need to hire extra people for different situations or for different extra circumstances. Well, this is another example, very not related to a circular economy, but I think you can understand very well. For example, the TV does not turn on. Why doesn't, this is because the remote doesn't work. Well, very used. The remote doesn't work, but perfect. The remote doesn't work. The remote doesn't work. Why doesn't the remote work? Perhaps it's not sending information to the TV. Well, perhaps it's a question of battery. Okay, the TV is a battery because the first thing that you think is the batteries are off, and you need to rechange the batteries of the TV, the, the remote TV, the remote work. Why do you say? Because I dropped it the other day and it started giving an error. Why did you drop it? For not paying attention to where he was living. And why did you pay attention? Because I was too tired from so much work. So the problem is that the people are overloaded as well, and they have to most too tired from so much work. So perhaps you focus on the first one, so then you will have the same problems in future, because the people, or in these circumstances, perhaps you need to handle you are very tired from so much work. You will stay with the first answers and you to buy new batteries. The problem would still not be solved. You can see you have found the problem in the third questions and the reasons in the fifth. Here you have found the problem in the third question. The third question have found the problem. Why don't you send information? Because I drop it the other day and then it start giving error. So if the question is because you drop it. This is the problem. And the reason you find here. The problem is here because drop it, not because there are lack of energy or lack of batteries. No, it's because a drop. Something I drop it and well given an error, and this is why you drop it, because how overloaded for the work. So this is about the first another problem in terms of the over budget on recent projects, explaining the 5 techniques. A business went over budget on a recent project. An example sometimes is the business are over budget on recent. Why did we go over budget on our project? It took much longer than we expected to complete. Why did it take longer? Because we had to redesign several elements of the product. So perhaps this is the first issue. We need to redesign several elements of the product. But why did we have to redesign elements of the product? Because the features of the product were very confusing. And where were the features of the product confusing to us? Because we made incorrect assumptions about what users wanted. Why did we have to redesign elements of the products? Well, why were the features of the product confusing to us? So you focus on the third. So why did we have to redesign elements of the product? The features of the product were very confusing to us to use. So you focus on this idea, very, very important. Keep in mind that perhaps you think that you need to redesign several elements. Is a problem? Well, I don't know. Perhaps the product, the characteristics of the product didn't like to the target, and you need to redesign it, and it invests a lot of money to complete the actions. When perhaps it's a problem that the marketing didn't carry out good expectations, the expectations as they thought, and we need to redesign elements because the lights, the needs of the target change, and we need to redesign. And these actions involve then a lot of money. But you continue to, why did we have to redesign elements of the product? Because features of the product were confusing to us. This is and why were the features of the product confusing to us? Because we made incorrect assumptions about what users wanted. So at the end of the day, what you realize that the problem comes from these actions. And finally, you say, why did we make incorrect assumptions? Our user experience research didn't ask effective questions. So this is the root cause. The root problem is in terms of to find it. And when you say, we have to redesign several elements. Perhaps, well, we need to several elements according to answers, they change their lives. But the root cause of it is not about the target. It's about that in the first time, the first approach, we didn't make incorrect assertions. So the research, the interviewed, the pool was made very badly, or to some extent was incorrect, was not accurate as our expectations. We didn't show we didn't make it very properly, and we got negative or incorrect answers. No? So experienced research didn't ask effective questions is the root cause of the problem. So here, for in the same, to predict, to take complete, but rather human error. Human error is the root cause of the problem, that the company didn't ask effective questions. So good way to understand the class. In general, in overall, was you can see that sometimes people have a very first approach, but then you realize that you need to blame a problem on people will often initially blame a problem on something that is out of their control. But at the first, more or less, as we might say, that it's a problem, but sometimes you realize that face for any human factors has to do a lot of with these failures or this situation that they are out of control. So this is very important to understand sometimes the root cause of a question. So very normal to ask these exercises in terms of 5 whys to discover the root question. The exercise for today, before having our breakfast, our rest, the exercise of this session for today, they are divided in 2 parts. The first approach is the 6 hearts example. Could be the first one, and then you need to do the second exercises for this model, the second model. The second model is to state a problem and try to find solutions with the technique wise. So the idea of it is to find a solution with the idea of whys. So well, for me, you can find I prefer to have a problem, state a problem about, well, the same, try to work in something about sustainable circular economy, a problem that you find it and where you have a cause and perhaps you have different cause. And this approach is perfect to use in other exercises. We talk about, I don't know, why, well, sometimes there are problems that are out of control and you can control it, no? But there are other problems that they are out of control. I don't know. I try to be creative, but the same. I don't want it to force you, but I try to put in your shoes, in your university in Alicante, and there are plenty of fontaine water. No? But people don't use fontaine water because they thought that plastic water is better because of whatever, because of the taste, because of the flavor of the water. It's very normal here in Alicante. For instance, the taste is horrendous. When you take water from the fountain, well, sometimes normal fountain, okay, with not the water are very dry here. They have a lot of calcium, and because they have a lot of calcium, the flavor are very not good. You compare to the north of Spain, perhaps Madrid, or very in the north of Spain, there are places that water, the flavor is perfect. Okay, you can't take tap water, and the tap water is fantastic. Fountain water as well, but here in Alicante, in the Thames, it's very dry. The water have this is, I don't know, perhaps it's the chloro. I don't know, is different components, but the taste is not, is, well, I wouldn't say horrendous, but they say the people is safe that with the paisa. But this is a problem. Okay, it's a problem for people, and the people decided to go to the vendings, to the machines, to pay for it, and to buy plastic. And by using the plastic, they contaminate the the contaminate the atmosphere, the atmosphere, the soil. They're using more plastic, and it's not the way. So I show you this is a solution. So you say why, and why people decide to not to use, for instance, water fountains and to buy it. So let's start the why for it. This is an approach, but as I said before, I don't want to follow my approach. So try to being creative. You wanted to find perfect. For me, it could be fantastic. You say, well, this is an example of Antonio. Talk about the fountains, and the fountains of Alicante are very, very dry. And very the flavor is a little disgusting, and the problem, there is a problem. Why? So let's start why the water is like this. No, if you can't improve something, no, or you need to find a solution. Sometimes it is under control, perfect. Sometimes it's not under control. It's not under control. So the idea for it is that you can control it and you can show a solution. I think so. It's good. Very, very. I like this idea. So before before starting the break, I think 5 minutes approximately, we will start our break. So let me introduce another technique that is called the drill down technique, and I'll show you different perspectives in terms of drill down technique by using this technique. So the first is a method, and here I show you using a concept map. Concept map is something that is very useful. It's explained also in the Castellano workshop in terms of final works, final projects in terms of this project that the students need to do in Alicante. I thought in your country you need to do as well, as is in terms of Bologna. Bologna decided to change that the students need to do that at the end of it. So here in Alicante, I explain it for people. You decide to go to Erasmus, for instance, to come here or wherever, mobility tutor as well. So you don't hesitate to contact with me if you wanted to know more about mobility in terms of this university. I can do the best, so I can send you the addresses to contact is in terms of mobility, of tutor mobility that I'm in charge. There are 6 in the Faculty of Economics. There are 6 people or 8 people, but we know very well the mobility. So here there are a lot of fantastic ideas. When the Erasmus comes, for instance, we will come here in the Faculty of Economics. So the first day, the people group in the Faculty of Economics, they are and speak this a meeting with them. The students are invited for tapas or different issues. So it's fantastic. They give you some gifts about perhaps a folder or a tester. This year was a tester. Last year it was a paella, something to enjoy them. So I tell you before. So welcome to the idea of this the mobility tutor. Mobility, you decided to go to university. Perfect. So a concept map, I said, it's is something very, very common in school. In the school, as I said before, is explained in this workshop of final projects, in order to create your idea, in order to create your idea. So drill down technique is similar. It's the same. It's a process of breaking the problems into its basic elements and to find the root cause. So this is the drill down technique. Drill down technique, the sample is like this. You need to find using a concept map. So it's a simple technique for breaking problems in progressive math. So what you have to do is different. Here in the first approach, you need to find the whys, the whys of different questions, to ask yourself why 5 times. You need to ask 6 times, doesn't matter. But by doing this technique, by using 5 times, you can find the root cause. So now, the meantime, in daily basis, I think so. Every time you solve a problem, you say why. Sometimes you say why. So try to say you have a reason, a proper reason. Very good. Drill down technique is different. It's breaking complex problems in the smaller part. So here we will start by writing the problem. Here is a concept map. Using the concept map, this is on the left hand. So you need to use a sheet of paper. You can use a computer, perhaps a computer, a laptop, your work document app, or whatever program that you use in your laptop for writing down. And then write down, you need to draw it in the left hand. On the left hand, you need to state the problem, the state problem of the part of the picture on the left hand. This is according to it. And then we will start two factors, to find factors, and this is the problem, the difference between whys, the technique of whys, and the technique of the drill down technique, is the process of breaking the problem. So first approach, why? Trying to find different questions. This is something, and here we need to break the problem. Breaking the problem in different parts. This is the reason that is called drilling down. So when you have a problem, perhaps it's good to target the problem in different teeny problems belongs to the major problem. It's like a concept map like this. So this is the technique of drilling down. So idea is to drill down the problem, to cut it in different problems. So repeat the process, keep on drilling points to fully understand the problems, and repeat it when it's necessary. You cannot break down using the knowledge, then carry out to understand the point. So repeat the process is necessary to understand the factors, the root cause of the problem. Drill gives you a deeper understanding in order to recognize the factors that contribute to it. Drill downs grids shows you a link, involve a link in informations with associated with a problem, and shows a need further informations. So provides you a link to information that you had not initially associated with a problem, and it also shows you where you need further information. So these drill down techniques show you parts where you need to focus more on the other parts. For instance, there are major problems. You decided to break the problem in different parts. Perhaps you realize that there is a problem, a teeny problem, one problem. This is, you divided the big problem in 3 or 4 parts. 5 problem perhaps is focused on the second rather than the third. Perhaps it's better to focus on the fourth rather than the one, because here you realize that you need to focus on it. Or perhaps when you realize that you can find a solution, it's good to start to come back to another problem. know, to learn more information about it. I think so that it will be very important to show the problem to this idea. The owner of a windsurfing club is having complaints from his members about the unpleasant quality of the water to the clubhouse. They seem like a huge problem to carry out of the analysis in figure 1. So here, this is, we will, after break, we will start by thinking about this idea. You are owner of a windsurfing club, and you have problems with the members about the unpleasant quality of the water close to the clubhouse. So people complain about it's disgusting, the water smells so bad, and there are people, the clients of this the Windsor Club, they are complaining about it. It's very common, well, not very common, but sometimes perhaps because it's very close to the harbor, because it's the harbor, they are very big, cruisers here, very common, like big cruisers. Okay, big cruisers sometimes contaminates, and there are people that we are very famous in tourism, but people in terms of sometimes you need to change the way to the people. These boats contaminate the water, so you need to focus on clean energies. Okay, try to change the way it's, and different issues. Perhaps would be good. Okay, so think about the idea. So now I will stop it, and we will come back in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, I will come back. So I'm going to the first questions. I think so. In 30 minutes, I will come back. No questions, so I'm going to give you time, and I think 30 minutes we come back.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.